Chosen one, let the awakening compass guide you. Awaken to the hidden truths that govern your life and break free from the illusion of control that has kept you bound. Have you ever felt like something isn't quite right in the world around you? That the systems governing your life, government, religion, finance, might not be as transparent as they seem? You're not alone. For centuries, these structures have been built to control, to manipulate, and to keep you in a state of unconscious compliance. But what if I told you that the keys to freedom are already in your hands? What if the very systems that have oppressed you can be dismantled with nothing more than the power of your mind and awareness? You've been living in a world where the truth has been hidden, wrapped in layers of distractions, symbols, and ancient laws that serve to keep you bound in ignorance. But the time has come for you to awaken. The first step to reclaiming your power lies in the understanding that everything you've been taught is not the full picture. Beneath the surface lies a profound truth, a truth that, when uncovered, will give you the strength to break free from the illusion of control. Are you ready to awaken and reclaim your power? There is a veil draped over the true nature of this world, a shroud of illusion whispering promises of control and stability. Yet this control is but a phantom, a cunning mirage crafted to bind the unaware. Governments, religions, and ancient laws weave an intricate web, not to guide, but to dominate the subconscious minds of the many. The illusion feeds on compliance, making captives out of those who never question, those who never dare to see beyond the surface. But for the chosen, the ones who feel the weight of this oppressive system, the cracks in the facade are glaring. They sense the manipulation embedded in institutions, the subtle hand of control in symbols and rituals. Their awakening is not a quiet realization, but a burning discomfort, a fire that ignites their spirit with questions. Who governs the governors? What lies beneath the polished surface of commerce, law, and tradition? The search for answers transforms into a rebellion of the soul, and rebellion, once sparked, cannot be extinguished. The chosen begin to see through the language of control, the unspoken codes hiding in plain sight. They understand that the system thrives on silence and ignorance, and they refuse to remain silent. As their consciousness expands, the illusion begins to crumble, revealing not just the chains, but the hands that forged them. The fire of truth spreads, searing through the deceptive structures and leading toward a deeper revelation, a connection to something far greater than this manufactured reality. This rebellion grows with each revelation, and the chosen begin to see how their autonomy was stolen by a narrative designed to pacify. They discern the narrative's hidden laws, ones rooted not in justice but in manipulation, where institutions serve their creators, not the governed. Each question, each piece of forbidden knowledge, chips away at the illusion until only raw truth remains. It is this truth, blazing and undeniable, that stirs their consciousness to break free. Yet freedom demands courage, for the illusion's architects retaliate fiercely against those who seek liberation. Fear, distraction, and ridicule are their tools to reassert control. But the chosen cannot unsee what has been revealed. They press on, knowing that each step forward brings them closer to a higher truth, to a realm where manipulation no longer binds, and the light of clarity shines untainted. Symbols are the silent language of power, their meanings carved into the subconscious of humanity. These emblems, seen in corporate logos, religious icons, and ancient rituals, hold an influence far greater than mere aesthetics. They are keys, unlocking emotions, beliefs, and actions without the bearer's conscious awareness. The chosen begin to see the hidden language where symbols act as chains, subtly guiding entire societies. What appears innocent is often a mask for control, rooted in ancient archetypes that whisper commands to the soul. For those awakening, the world transforms into a battlefield of meanings. Each symbol becomes a message waiting to be decoded, a secret waiting to be unearthed. The corporate logos that dominate skylines, the religious rituals repeated without question, and the ubiquitous signs of governance are all part of an ancient script. It is a script written by those who understand the subconscious mind and use it to manipulate. To see beyond these veils is not just to gain knowledge, it is to reclaim autonomy. But the battle is not without its price. To awaken to the power of symbols is to walk a path of isolation, for the masses still dance to their unseen tune. Yet, this path also leads to empowerment. The chosen learn to rewrite the narrative, to replace manipulation with meaning and ignorance with insight. They realize that symbols, once tools of control, can become tools of liberation. Each step on this path draws them closer to breaking free from the narrative's grip and discovering the truths hidden in the language of symbols. But the power of symbols lies not only in control but also in creation. They are mirrors of intent, shaping reality through collective belief. When wielded with understanding, symbols can ignite movements, inspire revolutions, and dismantle systems of oppression. The chosen recognize this potential, seeing symbols not just as tools of manipulation, but as weapons of enlightenment. The same emblem that once enslaved can become a banner of liberation, its meaning transformed by the awakened mind. The struggle to decode these symbols is relentless, for their creators shroud them in layers of secrecy, embedding them into the core of human institutions. Education, commerce, religion, all carry the weight of these ancient markers. Yet with every layer unveiled, the chosen reclaim fragments of their stolen power. They awaken to the reality that the battle over symbols is not just a fight for understanding, it is a fight for freedom itself. The law, as it stands, is a tale of two worlds, one above the surface and one beneath the tides. The law of the land speaks of regional customs, guiding communities with roots in shared traditions. But lurking beneath is a more insidious framework, the maritime admiralty law, born from ancient trade routes and now extending its shadow over governance and finance. This dual system governs not just borders but minds, creating a structure where freedom is bartered for control, and few realize the depth of its reach. In courtrooms adorned with rituals of power, the language of maritime law dictates the fate of individuals as if they were mere commodities in a global market. Terms like bail, dock, and vessel betray the system's origins, transforming human lives into assets to be managed. It is a subtle yet profound manipulation, where even the smallest acts of justice are tethered to principles of commerce. The chosen, however, begin to question, what is the price of freedom in a system that values profit over humanity? This framework extends beyond legal chambers, seeping into every facet of governance and finance. Institutions once meant to protect have become mechanisms of control, operating under laws few understand. The chosen see the strings being pulled, recognizing that the duality of these systems is not accidental. It is a calculated design to obscure the truth, to maintain the illusion of fairness while enforcing the dominance of unseen hands. And yet, within this labyrinth of law, there lies an opportunity for those who dare to seek it. To understand the dual nature of these systems is to glimpse the cracks within them. It is to recognize that the language of power can be reclaimed and repurposed. The chosen begin to see that liberation comes not from rejecting these frameworks entirely, but from wielding them with awareness and intent. This awakening, however, is not without resistance. The architects of these laws defend their constructs fiercely, using fear and confusion to deter those who challenge their authority. But the chosen press forward, armed with a growing knowledge of the dual legal framework. Each revelation becomes a weapon, each step forward a strike against the veil of control. They march toward a higher understanding, knowing that true justice lies not in the law itself, but in the spirit of those who dare to defy its misuse. The financial systems we navigate daily are far more than numbers on a screen. They are the offspring of ancient maritime law, carrying with them the weight of centuries-old control. Terms like liquid assets and cash flow are not mere metaphors, but echoes of a time when trade across seas dictated the value of life and labor. This language persists, a hidden script binding modern commerce to its maritime roots, where wealth flows like currents, controlled by those who command the tides. Birth certificates, innocuous as they seem, are symbols of this system, a ledger entry marking individuals as assets within a global economy. Under the guise of governance and order, these documents tie human lives to a commerce-driven framework. The chosen begin to see the depth of this design, understanding that their very existence has been commodified. Their autonomy exchanged for participation in a system that thrives on their labor, yet offers little in return. banks and financial institutions, clad in symbols of trust and authority, operate as the custodians of this maritime paradigm. Their structures mimic the grand ships of old, holding the power to steer economies and dictate the destinies of millions. But beneath the polished facade lies a mechanism of control, one that consolidates wealth in the hands of a few while keeping the masses afloat just enough to believe in the illusion of prosperity. The chosen see through this, sensing the imbalance and questioning the justice of such a system. To awaken to the truths of financial systems is to realize the extent of their reach, not just over economies, but over identities. The flow of money is more than an exchange. It is a ritual of power, a reenactment of ancient commerce that governs modern lives. Those who dare to break free must navigate the turbulent waters of this system, learning its rules to dismantle its control. The journey is perilous, for the architects of this framework guard it zealously, but the chosen press on, armed with insight and resilience. And so the rebellion begins, not with weapons or chaos, but with knowledge and intent. The chosen step into their power, rejecting the passive role of commodities and embracing the active role of creators. Each act of awareness becomes a ripple in the vast ocean of control, threatening to destabilize the very foundations of the financial systems. In this struggle, the chosen are not merely fighting for themselves, but for the liberation of all who have been unknowingly caught in the tides. Religion, once a beacon for the soul, has been molded into a mechanism of control, veiling divine truth with rituals that bind rather than liberate. Symbols and ceremonies cloaked in reverence carry a deeper purpose, often unknown to the faithful. From the black robes of priests to the architecture of sacred spaces, these elements echo ancient traditions tied to Saturn, the archetype of boundaries and governance. The chosen begin to see the threads connecting the divine to the institutional, questioning the intent behind the practices meant to guide their spirit. Corporate and religious systems mirror one another, each wielding symbols as tools to shape belief and behavior. The crosses, the altars, the logos, they are not merely decorative but strategic, designed to resonate with the subconscious. They bind the collective, creating unity through conformity, but at what cost? The chosen recognize these symbols as keys to understanding, their hidden meanings a roadmap to reclaiming autonomy. The faithful are left to ponder. Are they worshiping the divine or the systems that claim to represent it? The rituals themselves, rich with archetypical power, often serve dual purposes, to uplift and to control. The congregation kneels, chants, and follows, their actions synchronized to a rhythm dictated by unseen hands. These acts, meant to connect the believer to the divine, can instead tether them to earthly institutions. The chosen feel the weight of this manipulation, a dissonance between the purity of divine connection and the structures that seek to mediate it. The awakening begins with this recognition, a spark of rebellion against a system that hides the light it promises to reveal. Saturn, the silent overseer of these traditions, represents order and restriction, its influence evident in the robes of judges and clerics alike. Its energy, both creative and confining, underscores the systems built upon its archetype. The chosen understand the symbolism, tracing its influence through centuries of governance and spirituality. They begin to question, what is the true nature of divinity in a system where Saturn's shadow looms over every act of faith? The awakening is not a rejection of spirituality, but a reclamation of its true essence. The chosen step beyond the rituals, seeking a connection unmediated by symbols and hierarchies. They look toward the divine with eyes unclouded, unshackled from the systems that sought to contain their faith. This journey is both perilous and transformative, for the chosen must now face the ultimate question: what lies beyond the veil of control, and how will they forge their path to freedom? Courtrooms, with their somber decor and strict protocols, are theaters where power is performed, not justice served. Here, individuals are not seen as living souls, but as legal entities, mere abstractions reduced to names on paper. The architecture of these spaces, from the elevated bench to the rituals of standing and sitting, mirrors ancient maritime principles. The chosen begin to sense the illusion at play, where justice is cloaked in ritual, but bound by commerce. It is not truth that rules here, but the unyielding hand of the system. The language of the courtroom betrays its origins, steeped in the lexicon of maritime law. Terms like dock, bar, and bail are not accidental but deliberate, tracing back to a time when ships and trade dictated the rhythms of life. These words, like the courtroom itself, serve as symbols, reinforcing the notion that the individual is cargo, bound to the tide of legal precedent. The chosen feel the weight of this symbolism, a silent reminder of their struggle against a system designed to dehumanize. The black robes of the judges, the formalities of the proceedings, and the archaic phrases all carry a deeper resonance, one rooted in governance and control. The courtroom is a stage, and its players are bound by a script they did not write. Yet the chosen, those who see beyond the performance, begin to question, who wrote this script, and for whose benefit does the drama unfold? They see the parallels between this legal theater and the broader systems of manipulation, each reinforcing the other in a cycle of control. To the awakened, the courtroom is more than a place of law. It is a microcosm of the larger narrative of power and compliance. Every act within its walls, from the oath sworn to the verdict delivered, is a ritual that binds participants to a system they barely understand. The chosen, however, refuse to be passive spectators. They study the symbols, the language, the laws, peeling back the layers of control. They see that true justice lies not in the courtroom, but in the courage to question its authority. And so, the stage is set for rebellion, not one of violence, but of awareness. The chosen challenge the roles assigned to them, stepping out of the narrative crafted by unseen hands. They turn their gaze toward the structures that sustain this theater, seeking the truths hidden within its rituals. With each step, they grow closer to uncovering the deeper forces at play, ready to confront the architects of control and reclaim the justice that has long been obscured. Symbols, long used as tools of control, hold the paradoxical power to set the mind free. For those who dare to decode their meaning, these symbols become keys, unlocking the doors to autonomy and understanding. The chosen recognize the layered messages in logos, rituals, and language, grasping the profound influence these elements exert over the subconscious. What was once a cage becomes a map, guiding them toward a deeper truth, a narrative hidden in plain sight. Each symbol carries a history, a resonance that transcends the surface. Corporate logos speak in silent tones of authority, religious icons whisper of control masked as devotion, and financial terms conceal their origins in maritime law. To the chosen, this language is not passive. It shapes reality and governs perception. By reclaiming their ability to read this code, they begin to dismantle the systems it upholds. The symbols lose their grip, transforming into tools of empowerment rather than manipulation. This journey of decoding is not without its challenges. To uncover the meanings embedded in symbols is to confront the layers of deception that have shaped society. It demands resilience, a willingness to question what has long been accepted without scrutiny. The chosen find strength in this struggle, seeing the liberation of the mind as the first step toward true freedom. Their awareness grows, and with it, their ability to reshape the narrative imposed upon them. The act of understanding these symbols is an act of rebellion, a quiet yet powerful resistance against the forces of control. It is not merely about knowledge, but about reclaiming the capacity to choose, a defiance of the subconscious programming that has dictated their actions. For the chosen, this awakening is a reminder that freedom is not given. It is claimed, wrested from the hands of those who thrive on obscurity and manipulation. As the chosen unravel the language of symbols, they prepare for the next stage of their journey. They are no longer passive participants in the systems around them, but active creators of a new reality. With each revelation, they weaken the chains that once bound them, drawing ever closer to a world where autonomy and empowerment are not privileges but inherent rights. Yet the question lingers, will they have the courage to face the truths that still lie ahead? In a world overwhelmed by distractions, the noise of entertainment, consumerism, and political theater serves as a smokescreen, obscuring the deeper truths that lie just beneath the surface. These distractions are carefully crafted to keep the mind occupied, preventing it from questioning the very systems that dictate its reality. The chosen feel the weight of this distraction, the relentless pull of superficiality that seeks to drown out the call for awakening. But within the stillness, in the moments of pause, they hear the faint whispers of truth, calling them to rise above the chaos. The challenge lies not in the noise itself, but in the courage to ignore it, to resist the urge to be consumed by the latest fad, the latest headline. In this age of instant gratification, true power lies in the ability to refocus, to redirect attention towards self-education and deeper awareness. The chosen understand this, and with every step away from the distractions, they reclaim their power. The world may continue to spin in its endless cycles of consumption, but they choose a different path, a path of purpose, of questioning, of seeking the truths hidden in plain sight. This journey of breaking free is not easy. The pull of the familiar, the comfort of distraction, is a powerful force. But the chosen are no longer content with shallow experiences. They seek something more profound, something that resonates with the deepest parts of their being. They recognize that only by turning away from the distractions can they begin to see the systems for what they truly are. It is through this awareness that the chains of control begin to break, as the mind shifts from passive consumption to active creation. The distractions that once consumed them now seem irrelevant, even hollow. The chosen no longer waste their energy on fleeting pleasures, knowing that their true power lies in reclaiming their time, their focus, and their awareness. With each moment of clarity, they peel away the layers of illusion that have kept them shackled to a reality designed to pacify rather than awaken. They step into their power, fueled not by the external noise but by an inner knowing that leads them toward freedom. As they continue on this journey, the chosen become beacons of light, illuminating the way for others who are trapped in the web of distraction. They are not alone in this fight, for each individual who awakens sparks a ripple that can awaken the collective. The path ahead may be long, but with each step, they draw closer to the truth, closer to the ultimate liberation from the systems that seek to control them. The awakening of one is never a solitary act. It ripples through the collective consciousness like a flame igniting 1,000 others. The chosen, with their newfound awareness, become the catalyst for a greater awakening, not only within themselves, but in everyone they encounter. As they break free from the chains of manipulation and control, they lead others to do the same. The awakening is not just a personal journey, it is a collective one, a shared emergence from the fog of illusion into the clarity of truth. With each step taken, the chosen inspire a transformation that transcends the individual. They are no longer merely seeking their own freedom, they are sowing the seeds of collective liberation. The awakening spreads like wildfire, igniting hearts and minds, challenging the systems of control, and empowering others to reclaim their power. This movement is unstoppable, for it is fueled by the undeniable truth that all are connected, that the liberation of one is the liberation of all. As more and more individuals awaken to the reality of their oppression, the power structures that once seemed unassailable begin to tremble. The chosen see the light of truth beginning to shine in the hearts of the many, and they know that their role is not to lead from the front, but to empower those around them. They understand that true power lies in unity, in the collective strength of individuals who have come to realize their worth and their ability to shape their own destinies. Together, they can dismantle the structures of control that have long held them captive. But with this awakening comes responsibility. The chosen must not only awaken themselves, but help others to see the truth, to break free from the illusions that have shaped their lives. They must share the wisdom they have gained, guide others through the labyrinth of deception, and create spaces where transformation can occur. Each act of awakening becomes a gift to the collective, a piece of the puzzle that, when put together, reveals a new world. And so, the journey continues. The chosen walk alongside others who are also awakening, and together they form a force that cannot be denied. The collective power of those who have risen from the illusions of control will reshape the world, bringing about a new era of empowerment, freedom, and truth. The question is not whether this awakening will happen, but when. And the chosen know that the time is now.